Can I eat with you, Papa? Asked the poor little girl. The man at the table looked up from his meal. The restaurant was full of clinking glasses, quiet laughter, and the soft notes of a piano in the corner. Linen napkins, flickering candles, and polished silverware created an atmosphere of elegance that was far removed from the world outside its doors. All heads turned when the girl spoke. She was thin, wearing an oversized threadbare coat that hung from her small shoulders like a blanket. Her cheeks were smudged with dirt, her shoes were mismatched, and her wide, pleading eyes seemed to glow beneath the restaurant's soft lighting. The man she spoke to was sharply dressed in a tailored suit. His hair was neatly styled, and the Rolex on his wrist gleamed every time he reached for his glass of wine. "Can I eat with you, Papa?" she repeated, her voice barely more than a whisper now. Silence fell over the restaurant like a heavy curtain. Forks hovered in the air. Waiters froze in place. The man looked at the girl with a stunned expression. His mouth opened, then closed again. He glanced around, as if looking for help or perhaps an explanation. Whispers began to ripple through the room. "Is that his daughter? Did he abandon her? Is she just mistaken?" The girl didn't move. She stared at the man with unwavering hope, as though the entire world depended on his answer. Then he did something that shocked everyone. He stood up, pushed his plate aside, and walked around the table toward her. People braced for a harsh word or an angry dismissal. But instead, the man knelt before the girl and gently placed a hand on her shoulder. "I'm so sorry," he said softly. "You must be starving." Tears welled in the girl's eyes. He stood and turned to the waiter. "Bring her a plate, the same as mine." The waiter hesitated. "Now," the man said more firmly. The girl's eyes widened as the man pulled out a chair and motioned for her to sit. She hesitated, almost disbelieving, but then slowly climbed onto the plush seat. She perched at the edge, as if expecting to be told to leave at any moment. The man sat down across from her. "I'm not your father," he said gently, "but tonight, if it helps, I can be." The girl gave a shy nod. Around the room, people watched in stunned silence. A woman dabbed at her eyes with a napkin. A couple across the room motioned for the waiter and whispered something. Moments later, a warm bowl of soup and a plate of roast chicken were set before the girl. She stared at the food for a long time before picking up a fork. "Eat slowly," the man said. "There's more if you want it." She nodded, then began to eat, cautiously at first, then with growing hunger. She didn't speak. She just ate. The man poured her a glass of water. "What's your name?" he asked. "Lena," she said between bites. "Nice to meet you, Lena. I'm Edward." She smiled, just a little. "You live nearby?" She nodded. "In the alley, near the train station." He frowned. "All alone?" She hesitated, then nodded again. Edward took a deep breath. "Where's your family?" "Gone," she said simply. The word hit him like a punch to the chest. He sat back, looking at her more carefully now. The girl was no older than 8 or 9. How long had she been living like this? After a while, the waiter returned with dessert, a slice of chocolate cake with a cherry on top. The girl's eyes sparkled. Edward watched her eat, his own food forgotten. As they finished, a woman from another table approached. She was well dressed, with silver hair and a kind face. "That was a beautiful thing you did," she said softly to Edward. "The world needs more men like you." Edward didn't respond. He simply looked at Lena. After the restaurant emptied out, Edward stood and helped the girl down from her chair. "Where are you going now?" he asked. She shrugged. "Back to the alley, I guess." "Not tonight," Edward said firmly. "Come with me." Her eyes widened. "Really?" "Yes. I have a guest room. And clean clothes. And more food." Why? She asked, suspicious now. Why are you helping me? Edward knelt again. Because once, a long time ago, someone helped me. I was just like you, cold, hungry, and alone. And one person changed everything. Lena didn't move. You don't have to come if you're scared, he added. But the door will stay open. After a long silence, she reached out and took his hand. That night, Edward gave Lena clean clothes, a warm bath, and a soft bed. He sat outside her door for an hour, just in case she got scared. She didn't. In the morning, she was still there, curled beneath the covers, her face finally peaceful. Weeks passed. Edward, a wealthy investment banker with no children of his own, began taking time away from work to care for Lena. He enrolled her in school, hired a tutor to help her catch up, and even bought her a small puppy she named Lucky. They laughed. They read books together. She told him about life on the street, the things she'd seen, things no child should ever witness. He listened without judgment. But what shocked him most was her resilience. Despite everything, she still had hope, still believed in kindness, still believed that people, deep down, were good. One day, a social worker came to visit. She's doing remarkably well, the woman said, after speaking with Lena. But we need to talk about formal guardianship. Edward nodded. I've already started the paperwork. You want to adopt her? I do. The social worker smiled. Then I think she'll be very lucky. Edward looked at the girl playing with Lucky in the garden. No, he said softly. I'm the lucky one. Months later, Edward and Lena stood before a judge. The courtroom was filled with quiet emotion. Is this what you want, Lena? The judge asked gently. Lena nodded. He's my papa now. The judge smiled and banged the gavel. It's official. Edward bent down and hugged her tightly. I told you, Lena whispered, her voice full of joy. You are my papa. Tears streamed down Edward's face. Yes, he whispered back. I am. Years passed. Lena grew into a bright, kind, and fiercely compassionate young woman. She never forgot where she came from, or the moment her life changed forever. Every year, on the same night they first met, she and Edward would return to that restaurant. They'd sit at the same table, order the same meal, and leave a paid tab for anyone in need. And on the table, they'd place a simple note. If you are hungry, sit. If you are cold, stay. If you are lost, you are not alone. Because sometimes all it takes is one person to say yes, when the world expects them to say no. And sometimes a single question, can I eat with you, Papa? Can change everything.